Chapter 5 India, Bombay. It was a long way from Suez to Bombay. What did Mr. Fogg and Passepartout do on board the ship? Phileas Fogg spent most of the time in the cabin. He had a big black book, and there he wrote down the time and the day of their arrivals and departures. He always knew if they were late or early on their way around the world in 80 days. As for Passepartout, he enjoyed the sea voyage, the food, and the warm sun, and the company of Mr. Fix on board the ship. "Are you going to Bombay too?" Passepartout asked Mr. Fix when he first met him on the deck. "Yes," answered Mr. Fix. "I am an agent of the Peninsular Company." Everything went well, and the ship arrived in Bombay 2 days earlier because of the northwest wind. Now for the journey across India. There is a new railway from Bombay to Calcutta, thought Mr. Fogg, and asked his servant to buy the tickets. Then he went to the passport office for a new stamp. Detective Fix went to the police station and asked for a warrant for the arrest of Mr. Fogg. It wasn't there, so the detective could do nothing. He decided to stay in Bombay and wait for it. On his way to the train station, Passepartout enjoyed the colorful streets of Bombay. When he saw a wonderful Indian temple, he decided to get inside. He didn't know two things. No foreigner could come into it. Nobody could enter an Indian temple in their shoes. Passepartout came in, and the next moment 3 young Indians in orange clothes attacked him. They threw Jean down on the floor, taking off his shoes and socks. Then they started to beat him, shouting angrily. Jean was a strong man, pushed the men, and ran out of the temple. Jean wasn't late for the train, but he had no hat on his head, no shoes on his feet, and no bag with his clothes in his hands. "I hope it won't happen to you again," Phileas said in his quiet voice. They took their seats, and a moment later the train started. Soon they were asleep. All through the night the train went on its way. Next morning it stopped at a small town, and Passepartout bought a pair of traditional Indian shoes. Now Jean was very much on his master's side. He didn't want any delays, accidents on the way. He wanted Phileas to win his bet and come back to England in 80 days. At 12 o'clock, the train stopped near a small station in the middle of the forest, and the train conductor cried, "All passengers will get out of the train." Mr. Fogg looked at Passepartout in surprise. Jean jumped down onto the track, disappeared for a minute or two, and came back. "Sir, no more railway." "What do you mean?" "I mean that the track has come to an end."